The silent hunter stars stretched endlessly outside the viewport of the ESS Phantom. Captain Naomi Vega stood with her hands clasped behind her back, her sharp eyes scanning the darkness of space. Earth's newest and most advanced warship cut through the void with barely a whisper, living up to its name. "Status report," Naomi said, her voice calm but commanding. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Ishida looked up from his console. "All systems optimal, Captain. We're approaching the edge of charted space now. This is where the colony vessels disappeared." Naomi nodded gravely. 8 ships gone in the last 4 months. No distress calls, no debris, just vanished. The Phantom had been dispatched to find answers, but so far they had encountered only silence. "Professor Kamal, anything on your sensors?" Naomi asked. Professor Jahan Kamal, the ship's chief scientist, shook his head as his fingers danced across his screen. "Nothing unusual yet, Captain, though there's vast territory to cover. The quantum field detector is operating at maximum sensitivity." "Keep looking," Naomi ordered. She turned to her chief engineer. "Rodriguez, how's our stealth system performing?" Chief Engineer Olivia Rodriguez gave a thumbs up from her station. "Perfect, Captain. The gravimetric distortion field is stable. We're practically invisible to conventional detection methods." Naomi allowed herself a brief smile. The Phantom was truly a marvel of human engineering. Its weapons, shields, and stealth technology were years ahead of anything else in the fleet. If something was hunting colony ships in this region, they were prepared for it. "Captain," Marcus called suddenly, his voice sharp. "Sensors picking up multiple vessels approaching. Configuration unknown." Naomi straightened. "Show me." The main screen flickered to life. A dozen ships, sleek, angular, and distinctly alien, moved, in perfect formation toward Earth territory. "First contact," Professor Kamal whispered, eyes wide with excitement. "Or first battle," Marcus countered, his hand hovering over the weapons controls. Naomi raised a hand. "Hold. Let's see what they want first." The alien fleet halted just outside weapons range. For several tense minutes nothing happened. Then a signal came through. "They're hailing us," Marcus reported. "Put them on," Naomi ordered. The screen changed to show a humanoid figure. It had pale violet skin, 4 eyes arranged in a diamond, pattern and ridged bone structures where ears would be on a human. When it spoke, its mouth moved strangely, but the words came through clearly in English thanks to the ship's advanced translation system. "Greetings, Earth vessel. I am Fleet Commander Vrax of the Kral Dominion. You have entered space of significance to our people." Naomi stepped forward. "I am Captain Naomi Vega of the ESS Phantom. We are investigating the disappearance of several human ships in this region." The alien's expression remained unnervingly still. "We know of no disappeared vessels, but we would like to scan your ship. This is standard protocol when we encounter new species." Marcus muted the transmission. "Captain, I strongly advise against allowing that. They could gather tactical information." Rodriguez nodded in agreement. "Bad idea. Our stealth systems work, passively. But a direct scan could reveal our defensive capabilities." Naomi considered for a moment. "Professor Kamal?" The scientist looked thoughtful. "It could be a genuine cultural practice, and we might learn something about their scanning technology in return." Naomi unmuted the transmission. "We will permit a basic scan, Commander Vrax, as a gesture of goodwill." "A wise decision," Vrax replied. Naomi turned to Rodriguez. "Activate Defense Protocol Epsilon 3. Rodriguez nodded and began typing rapidly. Protocol Epsilon 3 would allow the scan, but feed back carefully selected information. Nothing classified would be revealed, but nothing obviously hidden either. It was a delicate balance. "Ready, Captain," Rodriguez reported. "You may begin your scan, Commander Vrax," Naomi said. A soft blue light washed over the bridge as the alien scan penetrated the ship. It lasted 30 seconds, then stopped. On the screen, Commander Vrax's expression changed dramatically. All 4 eyes widened, and his mouth opened slightly. For a moment he seemed unable to speak. "Is something wrong?" Naomi asked. Vrax snapped out of his shock. "No, nothing is wrong. Scan complete. Thank you for your cooperation." Before Naomi could respond, The transmission cut off. The alien fleet immediately began to move away at high speed. "They're running," Marcus said in disbelief. Naomi frowned. "Why? What did they see?" Rodriguez was checking her systems. Protocol Epsilon 3 worked perfectly. They shouldn't have seen anything particularly interesting. Professor Kamal was studying his readings. "Captain, their scan was much more powerful than it appeared. It penetrated some of our defensive screens." "How much did they see?" Naomi demanded. "I'm not certain," Professor Kamal admitted, "but significantly more than we intended." Marcus looked at Naomi. "Orders, Captain?" Naomi stared at the retreating alien fleet. Something about their reaction troubled her. Fear, that's what she had seen on Commander Vrax's face, but fear of what? "Follow them," she decided. "Keep your distance, but don't lose them." "Aye, Captain," Marcus replied, setting the course. For 3 days, the Phantom followed the alien ships deeper into unknown space. The Crawl fleet maintained their hurried pace, occasionally changing course, but never attempting to confront their pursuer. On the 4th day, they reached a densely packed star cluster. The Crawl ships split up, heading for different worlds. "Which one do we follow?" Marcus asked. Naomi studied the sensor data. The largest one, Commander Vrax's ship. The Phantom shadowed Vrax's vessel to a large blue-green planet. The alien ship descended to the surface while the Phantom remained in high orbit. "Scan the planet," Naomi ordered. Professor Kamal worked his instruments. "Massive civilization, Captain. Cities covering entire continents. Technology level appears similar to ours, perhaps higher in some areas." "Any signs they've detected us?" Naomi asked. Marcus shook his head. "None. Their orbital defenses haven't activated." Naomi turned to Rodriguez. "I want the stealth systems at maximum. Let's see what's happening down there." Rodriguez nodded and got to work. Professor Kamal suddenly looked up from his console. "Captain, I'm picking up unusual communications traffic. Massive amounts of data being transmitted across the planet." "Can you decode any of it?" Naomi asked. "Working on it," Professor Kamal replied. After several minutes, he looked up with a troubled expression. "It's fragmentary, but I'm seeing references to human technology, unexpected capabilities, and something that translates roughly as existential threat." Naomi's eyes narrowed. "They're afraid of us. But why?" "We didn't threaten them," Marcus said, puzzled. "They saw something in our ship that scared them," Naomi replied. "Something they didn't expect," Rodriguez grunted. "Serves them right for looking where they shouldn't." Professor Kamal continued monitoring the communications. "Captain, I believe they're calling some kind of emergency meeting. Important figures from across their territory are being summoned to the capital city." Naomi nodded slowly. "So they scan us, get scared, and call a meeting of their leaders." She paused. "Interesting. What's our next move?" Marcus looked at her. "Withdraw? Report. Back to Earth Command?" Naomi thought for a moment. "No. We stay and watch. We learn and we prepare." She turned to look at her crew, a determined expression on her face. "Something tells me this isn't over. The Crawl ran today, but they won't run forever." "Whatever they saw in us frightened them enough to retreat," Professor Kamal observed. "But fear can lead to different responses." "Like what?" Marcus asked. "Like trying to make friends with what you fear," Naomi said, "or trying to destroy it before it destroys you," Rodriguez added grimly. Naomi nodded. "So we wait and see which path they choose. And either way, we'll be ready," Marcus said with conviction. In the Crawl capital city, Commander Vrax stood before the Supreme Council, his 4 hands trembling slightly as he prepared to show them what the scan had revealed about the human vessel. Information that had made him order an immediate retreat. Information that would change everything. The Supreme Leader entered, and the room fell silent. "Show us," the leader commanded. "Show us what has you so afraid of these humans." Vrax nodded and activated the display. The detailed scans of the ESS Phantom appeared, revealing secrets that would keep the Crawl leaders awake for many nights to come. The fatal mistake. The Grand Council chamber in the Kral capital city of Varaxis fell silent as scan data of the human warship filled the massive holographic display. Supreme Leader Korva leaned forward on his ornate throne, his violet skin turning a shade paler. "This cannot be correct," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Commander Vrax stood tall despite his evident unease. "The scan was thorough, Supreme Leader. The data is accurate." Science Director Nylara moved closer to the display, her four eyes analyzing every detail. "The human vessel's power readings are extraordinary. Their shield technology operates on principles we've barely theorized, and their stealth capabilities—" She shook her head in disbelief. "How?" Korva demanded. "We have conquered 8 species. Across this sector, none possess technology that approaches ours. These humans were unknown to us until now." Nylara pointed to a section of the scan. "Look here. Their weapon systems utilize quantum entanglement in ways we've never even considered." She swiped to another image. "And here, their engine core. It's completely different from our approach, yet potentially more efficient." The council members murmured among themselves. For centuries, the Kral Dominion had ruled through technological superiority. They had never encountered a species with potentially more advanced technology. Korva turned to Commander Vrax. "You fled from a single ship." Vrax straightened his shoulders. "Supreme Leader, our scans indicated that this single vessel could have potentially neutralized our entire fleet. Tactical retreat was the logical choice." "Logical, perhaps," Korva said coldly. "But now they know we exist, and they know we're afraid." He rose from his throne and walked to the window overlooking the capital city. Towers of gleaming metal stretched to the sky, a testament to Kral achievement. 8 conquered worlds supplied resources and labor to make it all possible. "How did they advance so quickly?" Korva asked. "Our last intelligence from that sector showed primitive technology," Military Director Thrax noted. "That information is nearly 80 years old," Nylara pointed out. "We've been focused on consolidating our current territories." Korva nodded slowly. "A mistake. One that could cost us everything." He turned back to face the council. "Show me the images of the human crew." The screen changed to show Captain Naomi Vega on the bridge of the Phantom. Additional images showed other crew members at their stations. "They look so ordinary," one council member commented. "That is what makes them dangerous," Korva replied. "They appear unremarkable, yet they have built something that threatens our entire civilization." Commander Vrax cleared his throat. "What are your orders, Supreme Leader?" Korva was silent for a long moment. "Are they still in orbit?" "Yes," Vrax confirmed. "Observing us. They believe we haven't detected them, but our deep space sensors can track their position." Korva smiled for the first time. "Good. At least we have that advantage." He paced the length of the chamber, thinking. "We need time. Time to understand their technology. Time to develop countermeasures." "And if they attack?" Thrax asked. "They won't," Korva said confidently. "Not yet. They're curious. They want to know why we withdrew. We can use that curiosity." He turned to Nylara. "How long would you need to study their technology if you had full access to their ship?" The science director considered. "Months at minimum. Their approach is so fundamentally different from ours." Korva nodded. "Then we must gain that time." He faced the council. "We will extend the hand of friendship to these humans. Offer them trade, cultural exchange, scientific cooperation." Commander Vrax looked shocked. "Supreme Leader, are you suggesting an alliance with these humans?" "Of course not," Korva snapped. "It is merely a tactical maneuver. While our diplomats talk of peace and cooperation, our scientists will study their technology. Once we understand it, we can neutralize their advantage." Nylara appeared troubled. "Supreme Leader, what if we cannot match their technology quickly?" "Enough?" Korva's expression hardened. "Then we must find other ways to defeat them. Every species has weaknesses. Perhaps humans rely too heavily on their technology. Perhaps they lack the will to use it effectively. We will find their weakness, and we will exploit it. He walked back to his throne and sat down. Prepare a diplomatic message. Invite the human ship to send representatives for discussions. Make it sound sincere. What if they refuse? Vrax asked. They won't, Corva said. They are curious, and curiosity is a dangerous weakness. They will come. Back on the Phantom, Professor Kamal was the first to notice the incoming transmission. Captain, we're receiving a message from the planet's surface. Naomi looked up from the report she was reviewing. Put it on screen. The face of Supreme Leader Corva appeared, his expression friendly and open. Greetings, Captain Vega of Earth. I am Supreme Leader Corva of the Kral Dominion. I wish to apologize for Commander Vrax's abrupt departure during our first meeting. There was a misunderstanding. Naomi's expression revealed nothing. No apology needed, Supreme Leader. We were simply concerned when your ships left so suddenly. Corva smiled. A regrettable error in protocol. We would like to make amends by inviting you to a diplomatic meeting, a chance for our peoples to learn about each other. Marcus, standing next to Naomi, whispered, I don't trust this. Naomi gave a slight nod to show she heard him. To Corva, she said, That's a generous offer. Where would this meeting take place? There is a space station called Junction Point, in a nearby system. It is neutral territory used by various species for trade and diplomacy. Would that be acceptable? Naomi pretended to consider. It could be. I would need to consult with my superiors. Corva's smile didn't waver. Of course, take all the time you need. We are eager to establish friendly relations with Earth. After the transmission ended, Naomi turned to her crew. Thoughts? Rodriguez spoke first. Trap. Marcus nodded in agreement. Definitely. They were terrified of us yesterday. Now they want to be friends? I don't buy it. Professor Kamal looked thoughtful. It could be genuine. Perhaps they realized their initial fear was exaggerated. Naomi walked to the viewport, looking down at the alien world. No. Marcus and Rodriguez are right. This is a trap, but not the kind we might expect. What do you mean? Marcus asked. They're not planning to attack us at this meeting, Naomi explained. They want to study us, learn about our technology, find our weaknesses. Professor Kamal nodded slowly. That makes sense. From what we've observed, the Kral base their entire civilization on technological superiority. Our ship frightened them because it suggested we might be more advanced. So what do? Marcus asked. Refuse the meeting? Naomi turned back to face them, a small smile forming on her lips. No, we accept. Rodriguez looked surprised. Why? Because it works both ways, Naomi said. While they're studying us, we'll be studying them. And we have an advantage they don't know about. What's that? Professor Kamal asked. Naomi's smile grew wider. They only think they detected us in orbit. They don't know about the stealth shuttle that landed on the far side of their planet 12 hours ago. Marcus's eyes widened. You sent a team to the surface? When? While you were all off duty, Naomi said. A small team, handpicked. They're gathering intelligence even as we speak. That's why you seemed so calm about being detected, Professor Kamal realized. Naomi nodded. The Kral think they're one step ahead of us. Let's keep them thinking that. She turned to Marcus. Send a message to Earth Command. Tell them everything we've learned and our plan to accept the diplomatic meeting. And the shuttle team? Marcus asked. They'll continue their mission and meet us at Junction Point, Naomi said. By then, we should know much more about what we're dealing with. Rodriguez nodded with grudging approval. Clever. Let's just hope it's clever enough, Naomi said, her expression turning serious again. Because something tells me the Kral didn't build their empire by playing nice. On the planet below, Supreme Leader Corva watched the human warship with calculating eyes. They will accept, he told Commander Vrax, and when they do, their fate will be sealed. Little did he know that at that very moment, human eyes were watching him from much closer than he could imagine. Junction Point Space Station hung in the darkness like a giant metallic flower, its petals formed by docking arms where ships from different worlds connected. At one arm, the ESS Phantom waited. At the opposite end, the Kral diplomatic vessel had arrived 3 days earlier. Diplomatic envoy Talia Winters adjusted her formal uniform as she prepared to meet the Kral representatives. Captain Naomi Vega stood nearby, watching the envoy, with careful eyes. "Remember," Naomi said quietly, "they want something from us. Don't be too eager to give it." Talia nodded. She was an experienced diplomat with silver-streaked black hair and perceptive eyes. "This isn't my first dance with aliens who have hidden motives, Captain." Security Chief Dominic Walsh checked his tablet one more time. "My team is in position throughout the station. If the Kral try anything, we'll know." The door to the meeting room slid open. 3 Kral entered, led by a tall figure in flowing robes. "Envoy Winters, Captain Vega," the lead Kral said smoothly. "I am Diplomat Zalara. Supreme Leader Korva sends his warmest greetings." Talia stepped forward with a practiced smile. "The pleasure is ours, Diplomat Zalara. Earth looks forward to establishing friendly relations with the Kral Dominion." They all sat at a large round table. Servers brought drinks and food suitable for both species. "I must say," Zalara began, "we are most impressed by your vessel, the Phantom. Such advanced technology in a species we had not yet encountered." Naomi kept her face neutral. "We're equally interested in learning about Kral achievements. Your empire spans several star systems, I understand." A flash of surprise crossed Zalara's face before she could hide it. "You are well informed, Captain." "We try to be," Naomi replied. For the next 2 hours, they discussed trade possibilities, cultural exchanges, and scientific cooperation. The way, Kral seemed especially interested in joint research projects involving Earth's propulsion and shield technology. "Perhaps a tour of your vessel might help us understand how we could best work together," Zalara suggested casually. Talia smiled. "A wonderful idea, and we would be honored to tour your ships as well." Zalara's smile flickered. "Of course, though our vessels are currently undergoing maintenance." "What a shame," Naomi said. "Another time, perhaps." When the meeting ended, Dominic approached Naomi as the Kral left the room. "One of my team spotted a Kral technician near the Phantom's docking port," he reported quietly. "He claimed to be checking station systems, but the station manager confirmed no such checks were scheduled." Naomi nodded. "They're getting impatient. Have Rodriguez double the security on all ship systems." "Already done," Dominic said. "And our special package?" "Being delivered as we speak," Naomi replied with a small smile. On the Kral side of the station, Diplomat Zalara met with a technician in a secure room. "Did you get access to their ship?" Zalara demanded. The technician shook his head. "Impossible. Their security is too tight. But I placed scanning devices nearby. We're getting some readings." "Not enough," Zalara hissed. "Supreme Leader Korva wants their technology. The diplomatic approach is taking too long." "There is another way," the technician suggested. "We've identified their chief engineer. She often visits the station's recreation area after her shift. Perhaps with the right conversation," Zalara smiled. "Yes. Make it happen." Back on the Phantom, Naomi received an encrypted transmission from the stealth team on the Kral homeworld. The data confirmed their worst suspicions. The Kral had conquered 8 other species by leveraging technological superiority. Each conquered species was essentially enslaved, forced to provide resources and labor to the Dominion. No wonder. They were so frightened by our ship, Naomi told her senior officers. "We're the first potential threat to their way of life." "There's more," Professor Kamal said. "According to the data, their fleet is mobilizing despite these peace talks. They're preparing for war." Naomi wasn't surprised. "How long do we have?" "A week, maybe less." Naomi nodded. "Then we need to move to the next phase of our plan." The Kral had made their fatal mistake. They had assumed humans would react with the same fear and aggression they themselves would show. They had underestimated humanity's capacity for foresight, for patience, for cunning. And soon they would learn exactly what happened when you threatened Earth.